Pixelmon is a great mod pack. I probably have logged more than plenty of hours on the mod, but is there something better? Welcome to the world of Cobblemon, the Pixelmon predecessor, the possible Pixelmon destroyer. I heard a lot about this mod, so I figured I'd give it a shot. It is a 1.19.2 mod, so is plenty up to date. There are more than 400 Pokemon in this mod at the moment, and that gives me 3 goals for these 100 days. Catch as many Pokemon as possible, build awesome stuff, and get a shiny. I don't know if these things will happen. I know little to nothing about this mod, but we'll just see. So, if you enjoy this video, maybe like and maybe subscribe, because what the heck. And yeah, I'm gonna go catch some Pokemon now, or Cobblemon, I guess. So I'm just gonna dive right into it. I chose Mudkip. Mudkip, like most people, is one of my favorite Pokemon, so I just decided to choose it. I was conflicted though. I did want to either choose Bulbasaur, Turtwig, or even Tepig, but I guess the water starter got the best of me. To start out my adventure, I ended up looting a ruined portal, for nothing good anyway, and then I went to grab some tools, like wood tools and all that kind of crap. While journeying to find a nice base spot, I defeated a Geodude, and I gathered a red apricorn seed, which has about a 15% chance to drop, so I felt like I was a little lucky. Eventually, I did end up finding a nice spot in the highlands near tons of villages, which was perfect for stealing kids, I mean adults. You know what, I'm just gonna be quiet now. With every Minecraft world, I of course started on a base, so that means I have to put the Pokemon aspect to the side for now. When it comes to building my base, I wanted it to look better than most of the houses I normally build, so I made a plan to make it look like a mansion, well, somewhat. I'm still not the best builder, so it's gonna look trashy. I don't care though. I also have a furniture mod that will allow me to spruce up the house and make it look a little bit nicer than it does. And while I worked on this house, I do want to mention I waited for some cobblestone to smelt. I mined, I did all this stuff. I needed just a ton of cobblestone and coal. Yeah, it was very tedious, but that's basically all I got. My home is mostly done. Well, not really. So that means I can gather resources to become the richest Pokemon trainer out there. Like most rich people, I stole things. More importantly, I stole from villagers and villages. Actually, I stole some villagers. Wait, forget I said that. After organizing all of my stolen goods, I went mining to gather some extra resources. Mainly stone, but that doesn't matter. The last important thing that happened within these few days was that my Mudkip evolved into a Marshtomp. It's nice that the evolution process doesn't actually happen automatically. It gives me the option to evolve them just like it does in Pokemon Legends Arceus. I like that. Thank you, Cobblemon. Like I said, finally my house, well, the first floor at least, is done. So I took the opportunity to make both a PC and a healer. With the PC, I am now able to store more Pokemon, well, if I end up catching any more that is, and the healer will allow easy access to healing my Pokemon so that I can battle even more Pokemon. Of course, since I have these 2 new blocks, I need a Pokemon to fill my team, and PC. However, I need something first. I need Pokeballs, but I need apricorns, so that means I need trees, so that is my next step. I started working on an area so that I can plant apricorns around and start on a farm. So I took the red apricorn seed I got a little while back and I planted my first ever apricorn tree. Continuing with my apricorn farm, I made 7 little plots for an apricorn tree to sit in. This involved me doing a bit of terraforming, but it was fine. And in my opinion, I think it looks nice, considering what I normally do anyway. So for the rest of the time, I ventured to find the last apricorn seeds I needed. It took a little while, but the only ones I could get was the white, green, blue, and pink seed. So the last ones I need are the yellow and black seeds, which are probably some of the most important ones out of all of them. That will allow us to make Ultra Balls, but it doesn't matter. With this farm, I can at least make balls of every color I want. I'm talking about Pokeballs. I'm just trying to be clear. I'm talking about Pokeballs. I promise I meant Pokeballs. Okay, I made the Pokeballs. Actually, I made tons of them. They were only the base level ones, so there weren't anything too special, but they are Pokeballs nonetheless. So my next goal now was to work a bit on my Pokédex, which isn't actually in the game yet. But whatever, I ended up catching a Geodude as my very first Pokemon, which is ironic because the Geodude was my very first Pokemon I defeated in this mod pack, so that's pretty cool. Next, I also caught a Bidoof, which I then evolved into a Barrel. Then I decided to fill up my party by catching a Machop, Wooloo, Baneri, and a Mankey. The plan is to have them in my party until they evolve, stuff like that. I really don't care, because like the Marshtomp, which will eventually evolve, is going to be the main part of my party anyway. Well, for now anyway. I think it is about time I work on the second floor of my house. It looks kinda ugly with chests just sitting up there and no wall, so I feel obligated to make it look better. It's pretty much just gonna be a storage room anyway. And that's pretty much all I did the whole time. I also gathered some resources and waited for the stone to smelt, so I ended up killing tons of Pokemon while I waited. I want to evolve as much as I can, so I gained as much XP as possible. Yeah, I didn't get any evolutions these days, but soon, very soon, they will be with me. Now, I have a ton of empty space around my base, so to erase some of that, I started working on villagers, or, at least the iron farm and other blocks I needed for the Easy Villagers mod. However, the only thing I needed was redstone, so I went on a mining trip and managed to find 4 diamonds, along with redstone of course. And finally, as I said before, soon I'll get another evolution, which I did. Marshtomp, my lovely starter, evolved into a Swampert. Now, I have my powerful starter, and this will allow me to focus on other Pokemon to evolve. So now I can focus on my Machop, my Wooloo, all that kind of stuff, so I can start filling my Pokédex finally. With the villager area up and ready, I now need a reliable way to get me some emeralds. So I feel that a farm is in order. So, that is precisely what I did. I started making a farm. Wheat, potatoes, carrots, beetroot, sugarcane, pumpkins, and melons are my choice of crops. Actually, I don't really have a choice, do I? These are the only crops in vanilla Minecraft. Whatever. These crops will hopefully one day land me a fortune 3 I hope. But until that day arrives, I evolved my Geodude into a Graveler, I caught a Seedot, I got both a yellow and black apricorn seed to finish off my apricorn farm, and I caught a Ditto. With all of that chaos and fun stuff I did, I think it is a perfect time to go mining for a bit of diamonds, which I feel like I need badly. So a while back, I got a few diamonds. I used those diamonds to make a diamond pickaxe. And then a while back again, I found some more diamonds. And I'll be using those in a second because I had to go get me some gloriously annoying obsidian. With all the obsidian, I used the diamonds to make me an enchantment table, which I may or may not use in the future. I honestly don't even know. Then with the remaining 10 obsidian I have, I made another portal so that I can go into the nether, of course. And honestly, I didn't really find anything at all. I didn't know what I was thinking I would find. Maybe some cool Pokemon, I don't know. But I did find a bastion, but that didn't give me anything at all. So I returned from the nether, then I explored a few villages and I worked on getting a bit of XP, but honestly, that didn't really work out. Honestly, these few days were kind of disappointing. I wasted a ton of time. I went mining in hopes of getting a ton of freaking diamonds and I only got about 7-ish, so yeah, like I said, disappointing. But all I did was mine. Yeah, I used quite a few iron pickaxes. I didn't even get much loot either. It was really only redstone, stone, and those 7-ish diamonds. What a bummer. I know there isn't even anything to make up for this day. I didn't evolve any Pokemon, didn't catch any Pokemon, so just whatever, I guess. But now it's time to work on villagers. I got trades ready for mending, unbreaking, efficiency, and fortune. I want to get a really good pickaxe so that I can start getting more diamonds more efficiently, or fortunately. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, to get these books, I need the emeralds before, I can actually get that good pickaxe. So I'll just have to wait in the meantime. So while I was waiting, I evolved my Mankey to a Primate. I evolved Seedot to a Nuzleaf. I caught a Pidgey and evolved it into a Pidgeotto. I caught a Heatmore, and then I caught a Zubat. Even though, I still have plenty of Pokemon to catch, these 2 days definitely made a nice sized dent in my Pokédex, I hope. Started these few days confused. I didn't know what to do next, so I did the next best thing, explore. Yeah, I didn't find much if I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, I decided to return home and I started making a path around my base area. In my opinion, it will make the area look a little bit better, but while doing that, I ended up evolving my Machop into a Machoke. I caught a Torkoal, I caught an Igglybuff also, which I have to wait for it to get like more friendship before I can evolve it, so that's gonna take a while. Anyway, I went from having no clue what to do to making quite a bit of progress in my opinion. And trust me, there's plenty more confusion where that came from. Oh, and progress, I think. Next, I felt like I needed to make my base area a little bit more homey. So I made a little area with a table and some chairs. Oh wait, isn't that called a dining table? Dining area? I don't know. I also made an area where my bed and stuff is, and I made a kitchen. As you may know, I am not a great builder, and honestly that definitely means I am not an interior designer, as you may be able to tell of course. With the rest of the time for these few days, I worked on getting some more emeralds from loot. Basically I just took stuff from villages, I killed more Pokemon, and I even worked more on my path in my little base area, so maybe it looks nice, I don't know. Now, I have a better idea. I want to make an area more populated in a way, kind of, but I'm not gonna have the villagers roaming the area either because, you know, I don't want them running around and they get lost. But I do want more houses, so I got a ton of wood and started construction on 2 identical oak houses near my area. I plan on doing this with different types of woods and styles, but that is for another set of days. Now, while I was doing this, I murdered tons of Pokemon, like always, and I managed to evolve my Wooloo into a double, which marks off another Pokemon on my list of Pokemon I need to get. Here's another couple of days with me making tons of progress. I needed another party member to start working on leveling up, so I once again went on a catching spree. I caught a Spinda, a Durant, a Pachirisu, and a Weedle. The Weedle was already high enough level for me to evolve it into a Kakuna, so that's a plus. And then after all of this fun stuff, I was able to get myself a good pickaxe. So with the Fortune 3 pickaxe that I now have, I mined, and I got tons of gold and a few diamonds. After a while, I did get bored of the mining, so I ended up hunting for some Prismarine, which I will use in the future. I did manage to find some, which is like a major plus. I mentioned how the Prismarine was important, so with it, I was able to make 5 EXP shares. Those things required a diamond helmet. Those are freaking expensive. Like damn, I don't even have any more diamonds. It's rough. But now I can easily evolve Pokemon because the XP gets shared between every single Pokemon and all that kind of stuff. Speaking of which, my Kakuna ended up evolving into a Beedrill, which wasn't hard. I then caught a Kricketot and evolved it into a Kricketune. That wasn't hard either. I caught a Ghastly and evolved it into a Haunter. Then I caught a Basculin, and then lastly I caught a Caterpie and evolved it all the way into a Butterfree. Yeah, there was a lot of eyes in that sentence, but you at least get the gist, I hope. Well, now it's about time to expand my area again. Actually, I decided to catch a Slowpoke first, but that's fitting because I caught him on the beach. And the next wood is palm wood, which I'm going to be using on the houses. And now that's just going to make my area look a little bit weirder. So, whatever. While constructing my non-beach house, does that make sense? I don't know. My Igglybuff evolved into a Jigglypuff, but shortly after, I quickly finished the houses and expanded the path to each of the houses. The houses didn't take too much time because they were just small and stuff, but yeah, I used the extra minutes just to murder some more Pokemon for the delicious levels, of course. I am slowly but surely realizing that I need to make a bit more progress. Other than the fact that I caught a Krabby and evolved it into a Kingler, then caught a Joltik, I needed to mine. I got me some good loot and some diamonds and other stuff, but I got tired of the overworld, so I decided to venture to the nether to grab me some ancient debris. I wanted a netherite pickaxe, but I got it, so it was kind of dumb and I didn't record me upgrading it. So yeah, I'm an idiot, I know, but it's legitimate, I promise. I got fair and square, I think. To make more progress, I decided to waste more time. Yeah, I went out exploring for honestly no reason. I guess I thought that like some sort of big idea would pop up in my brain. Yeah, newsflash, it didn't. But a few things did happen throughout these days that made the time not totally wasted. My Pidgeotto evolved into a Pidgeot, my Slowpoke evolved into a Slowbro, I caught a Pineco which later turned into a Fortress, and I caught a Magikarp which quickly evolved into a Gyarados. So like I said, it wasn't totally wasted, well, until I wasted time looking for Netherite, which I didn't find any, so that's a bummer. So I started off these set of days by catching a Deerling, but for me to progress, I needed to search for Ender Pearls, and I was told that an Abra will drop some. Yeah, I never found an Abra. I just wasted all that time searching. So I decided to start working on a structure compass. There are tons of structures, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm too lazy to find them. So I have a little helper to make it easier. That's pretty much it. In the process of constructing my helper though, I did catch an Eevee, which I later evolved into a Jolteon, and then I caught a Tangela, which I of course later evolved into a Tangrowth. I'm at least glad I made a tiny bit of progress because searching for the Abra really made me doubt whether I would make any progress at all. Once again, these 2 days were filled with Pokemon murdering, catching, and evolving. Joltik evolved into a Galvantula, I caught a Yanma and a Ponyta, Lickitung evolved into a Licky, I caught an Oddish and evolved it all the way to a Blossom, then evolved my Yanma into a Yanmega, then caught a Tentacool, then evolved my Golbat into a Crobat, then I finally caught one more Oddish. Oh my god, that was a lot. But that wasn't the only thing I did. I ended up making a few upgrades to my backpack, and finally I used a structure compass to find a legendary shrine, which I will hopefully use in the future. Now, I think it's about time to add a bit of color to my town area thing. Whatever you want to call it. I found some blue enchanted wood stuff, and so I made some blue houses. Just 2 of them, nothing too massive, nothing too big. And it was honestly perfect this day because I caught a Poliwag and evolved into a Poliwhirl, which, if you can't tell, is also blue. I'm sorry, colorblind people. And I mean, also, water is arguably blue. So, I mean, I caught another water Pokemon known as Psyduck. And finally, in between building the blueberry houses, or whatever you want to call them, I evolved my Baneri to a Lopunny. So yeah, there's a lot of blues, minus Lopunny. They kind of ruined it. With a new plan to get Ender Pearls, aka just going to the villagers, I need Blaze Powder now. So I learned that I need to go into the Nether for some Blaze Powder because some Pokemon can drop it. But I never found the Pokemon. But since I am in a new area, I did catch a lot of Pokemon. I caught an Ekans, a Coughing, a Misdreavus, a Slugma, I'm not gonna make that joke, a Sizzlipede, a Charmander, and an Elekid. In the meantime though, while I was looking for the Pokemon that supposedly dropped the Blaze Powder, I evolved my Tentacool into a Tentacruel, Ekans into an Arbok, my Charmander into a Charmeleon, and finally my Elekid into an Electabuzz. Then for the hell of it, when I was back in the overworld, I made a tiny well for my base area, so that's kinda cool, I guess. So I returned to continue my search in the Nether, which got me to evolve my Sizzlipede into a Centiskorch. Now, I didn't want to do this, but I found a fortress. I wanted to stay in peaceful this whole playthrough, but you know, I did need the Blaze Powder, so yeah, I went to hard mode and killed some blazes to get their rods, and yeah, now I have all the powder I need. So on my way to the stronghold, I caught a Diglett and evolved my Psyduck into a Golduck, but then later the Diglett evolved into a Dugtrio, but finally I made it to the end. The glorious place to where I can fight a dragon and open my way to a legendary, which you will see later, but I died. Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing. After that death, I returned to murder the Ender Dragon. It was a very boring fight, I will be honest. Like, I just had to defeat the pillars and I just had to slap him to death. But I did it. I got the Dragon Egg, which is actually really useful. Well, useful in the future anyway. But I returned home and caught an Onyx because why the hell not? So then I started searching for Thunderstones. I had a plan for them, but yeah, I had no luck. Not a single one. But I did catch a Spearow, Doduo, and Rhyhorn, I guess. Finally, I did end up finding another legendary shrine though, but I can't really use it yet, so that's a shame. Then afterward, I decided to fill my Pokédex once again. Yeah, I murdered and slaughtered tons more Pokemon once again. I'm gonna say again multiple times, aren't I? I don't know. My Charmeleon later evolved into an ever so famous Charizard while I was killing Pokemon. And then I went out adventuring and I got a dumb Spearow to later evolve into a Fearow, which is a major downgrade from a Charizard. But then I got my Doduo to evolve into a Dodrio, my Ponyta evolved into a Rapidash, then my Coughing went into a Wheezing. I did manage to catch a Nidoran female and a Bellsprout. Now the Nidoran female evolved into a Nidorina and the Bellsprout evolved into a Weeping Bell. Man, catching these Pokemon is necessary, but damn, I feel like a legendary is in order. In order to find a legendary, I had to return to the end. I grabbed my dragon egg and went up to the altar. I had no plan. I was just gonna throw some balls at it, and the legendary is of course gonna be the awesome Rayquaza. One of my favorite legendaries to date. It's very popular. So what I had to do, I had to use the egg on the altar on the beacon, and I did. But it didn't show up. I am so confused right now. And like, I can't summon a new one because I already have the achievement now, but it didn't show up. So I was just like, what the heck? I mean, I took some time to clear my head. I caught a Miltank and ventured to a Sky Island, which is a new structure, in hopes that, you know, I could find something of use or something else. I honestly didn't really find anything, but I decided to go to the Nether to get a different legendary, and I chose to get Moltres since, you know, I had the Sunstones, and once again, it didn't show up. And yeah, I am very frustrated about that. After some thinking, I had to use a command or two. I didn't want to, but I feel like I kind of had to. I had to remove the advancement for Rayquaza, and I reloaded the pack, which I did end up doing when I uploaded or added the little add-on pack. But, you know, after I did that, all that, I was able to summon Rayquaza, and I did manage to catch him. It didn't take that long. He is level 100, surprisingly, and he is my best and favorite Pokemon on my team. And he will be the key to getting tons of Pokemon. I could just use him to slay every single Pokemon I see. Anyway, besides that awesome achievement, my Slugma also evolved into a Macargo, and I built a few Skyrus houses and added some trees and chairs to my good area. Now, I did say I wanted to get more legendaries, and this does count somewhat. I don't know. I was able to catch an untextured / unfinished Suicune. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a legendary, I think. After I got my hands on a few legendaries, I decided to go out and explore once again. While I was out, I caught a Goldeen, a Scyther, a Morlul, a Staryu, and another Slowpoke. Oh yeah, I also got an Elgyem. Out of all those ones I caught, I managed to evolve the Goldeen into a Seaking and the Morlul into a Shiinotic. After all those Pokemon shenanigans ended, I ventured into the end to loot an End City. I did gather quite a bit of wood, which I will use at a later date. The only good thing I got from the end, though, was an Elytra and a few diamond shovels. Other than that, it honestly was kind of a waste of time to go there. So not much happened in these next few days, other than the expansion of my base area. I made 4 houses. 2 of the houses were made out of overworld wood. It's a bit orangish and I don't really like orange, so I don't care about those houses. But then I did 2 other like little houses. I used end wood here. One was bluish and honestly it looked a little good. And now my favorite out of the 2 end woods was purple and white. It looked so well together. I used quartz as the floor. Oh, it looked beautiful. And whoever will live in this house is very lucky. Oh wait, yeah, no one will actually live in these houses because, you know, I have them kidnapped and trapped in a chest for all eternity. Well, oh well. Now, I have a plan for something to do. But first, I decided to evolve my Golett into a Golurk just because I killed like one random Pokemon. Anyway, while I did that, I hunted for some experience, and I really just needed this experience because I needed good gear for my upcoming plan. I also had to work on a few villagers, like to get some books and stuff, which caused me to search for more emeralds because I needed it. So I raided some villages, I broke into their homes, didn't kill them for the most part, and finally I got enough, which allowed me to find a Fire Aspect 2 book from a librarian. No, if you think I'm gonna let this librarian free just because it gave me a good book, you are completely wrong. I continued hounding the villagers for good trades. Because of that, I was able to get a Sharpness 4 book and a Looting 3 book. So now all I need is more emeralds. I went and ventured far and wide and collected tons of pumpkins. That wasn't the intent, but I found them, so I grabbed them. I bought the books that I needed and I combined everything to make a really good sword. So, I decided to go to the Nether. I turned it from peaceful to hard mode, and I started slaying some wither skeletons. You could probably guess why I'm doing it, mainly for the Nether stars, like there's no other reason to kill wither skeletons. And actually, I needed 2 Nether stars, so getting all the wither skulls could actually take a while. Like I mentioned before, I need 2 Nether stars, so that means I need 6 wither heads. So, I was ready for this to take a while, which it did, but it didn't take as long as I expected. In the meantime though, while I was killing wither skeletons, I evolved 2 Pokemon, Rhyhorn into Rhydon and Belgium into Behemoth. I probably said that wrong, but I don't care. And after a long time, after killing and slaughtering as many skeletons as I could, I got all the skulls. So now it is time to slay 2 withers. Honestly, killing the withers was kind of easy. I thought I was gonna die, but I guess not. And then now that I'm happy with my 2 nether stars, I need something else for my plan. I need netherite. So to finish off these days, I hunted for some. 2 ingots to be exact. I can finally execute the plan I have planned. With 2 netherite ingots, 2 shulker shells that I got from the end a little while back, and a nether star, I can craft the most legendary item, the best item ever, the Master Ball. This Master Ball could catch any Pokemon guaranteed without fail. So there is one Pokemon I feel that would be perfect to use this ball on, and that's the Magikarp. I'm just kidding. I promise I'm not that dumb. But that brings me to the second nether star. It is to summon the one and only Mewtwo. With a toss of my ball, my Master Ball that is, I caught the most iconic, legendary Pokemon ever. The Mewtwo. Well, there isn't really anything else to do other than fill my Pokédex. And what a great way to start by finding a random Porygon in my base. So naturally I caught it. Then I decided to make a ton of freaking items, including link cables. It took forever for me to finally make the items, I know. But I'm here now, so that means something. Anyway, using the link cables allowed me to evolve Machoke into Machamp, Slowpoke into Slowking, Graveler into Golem, Scyther into Scizor, Onix into Steelix, Electabuzz into Electivire, Haunter into Gengar, and Rhydon into Rhyperior. There was of course a few other items, but that's pretty much like what I did. I basically did the same thing in these few days that I did in the last few days. However, I mainly caught Pokemon. Pokemon such as Maractus, Dwebble, Sandshrew, Cubone, Natu, Kangaskhan, Pukumuku, I probably butchered that, and an Execute. Out of the ones I caught, I evolved Sandshrew into Sandslash, Natu into Xatu, a Cubone into Marowak, and after that, I was so tired of catching Pokemon, I went home and did a tiny bit of base work. Honestly, it wasn't really much. I thought it would amount to a lot, but I just built a small dock for my river, which I honestly will never use, and I planted trees randomly around my base so that my base would be a little bit more natural, if that makes sense. Earlier on in these 100 days, I turned my apricorn farm into just yellow and black apricorns so that, I can make more Ultra Balls. And I decided to make a whole new farm because of that. Or, at least expand my current one with the other colors. So I made 5 rows of 4 little plots to include the other colors of apricorn. There's pink, green, red, blue, and white. Will I ever use these? Probably not, or I don't actually know. I may have honestly just wasted my time creating a huge farm and terraforming part of a mountain. I don't know. It at least looks nice and it expands my area, so that's all that matters in my eyes. Okay, I lied. I caught a few more Pokemon, but first I evolved my Dwebble into a Crustle, so that's cool, I guess. But you know what else is cool? A shiny Pokemon. It took 99 damn days to get a freaking shiny. I first caught a Shelter, then I noticed a green glow in the ocean. It was a shiny Tentacool. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Tentacool, but its shiny still looks pretty good. And after admiring the shiny for a little bit, I just went and caught a Carvana that was right next to me and headed home. I evolved the Tentacool into a Tentacruel as I did before, and it still looks beautiful. Then I also took the Carvana into a Sharpedo, but shiny is the best part of what happened. I'm gonna be honest, I honestly didn't think I was gonna get one. I made it. 100 days without getting bored or losing everything. Now, I had no idea what to do for this day until I spent an hour thinking, and I thought about doing something that commemorates me making it to 100 days. So, in honor of Pokemon, I made a very bad looking Pokeball. I told you I wasn't a good builder, I'm just gonna say that. I put it right next to the apricorn farm too, because you know, that's where I get my ingredients for my balls and Pokeballs. So I thought it was a nice little thing, nothing too big, nothing too small. I'm sure I'll make more in the future, who knows. And with the Pokeball that I made, because you can tell it's a Pokeball, you cannot tell me that it doesn't look like a Pokeball, this has marked my 100th day. That has been 100 days in Cobblemon. I will say, this mod definitely has the potential, especially with the plethora of add-ons available. However, at the moment, I still prefer Pixelmon just because there's more to do, more Pokemon, and it's an OG mod. I will link the mod and add-ons in the description that I used, and I recommend you go check them out because I still had fun. Now, there is potential for me to continue this world with more days. I will probably wait for more updates or add-ons, but for now, this is my Cobblemon world and I am happy with it. Like I said before, if you enjoy this video, maybe like and subscribe because YOLO, and I'll see you guys in the next video.